Good day, Toastmaster and guests. This is Paramjeet Singh from Chacha. I'm a design and development manager, growth mindset coach, and an NLP trainer. And today I'm your Sergeant at Arm and Due Master for the meeting. So for our club mission, we provide a sportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has the virtual hand raised, so we can all immediately see who is keeping the time. I shall also be spotlighting the timer. Let me now introduce you today. A great Toastmaster and a leader who is a founding district director of District 114, received a presidential citation for putting in place structure, setting best practices, and leading the territorial council made of 5 countries at that time to district status. These all-round efforts increased the clubs by 3-fold and emerged as medley distinguished status, ranking 4th in the world in percentage club growth. Please help me welcome DTM Rozy Rana from all the way from Kenya as Toastmaster of the Day. DTM Rozy Rana, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sergeant at Arms. Fellow Toastmasters, what a privilege today. I have a question. Are leaders made, or do they come fully wired when they are born? This may be an age-old question. However, here at Toastmasters, with our tagline, there is no doubt that we do agree that leaders are made. According to leadership guru John Maxwell, there are many qualities that leaders or great leaders should have, and these range from empathy, humility. These include a heightened sense of self-awareness, focus on relationship building. They are consistent, they are humble. However, today, what we are going to be looking at, well above these qualities, are the impressive, unique abilities that some of our members possess. And this we will be discussing as we go along. Now, unique ability, by definition, is the essence of who we really are. Those abilities that come naturally to us, something we love to do and do best. Some of us are lucky that we are in professions where our unique abilities come to play, and therefore we even get paid while using those abilities. For others, they tend to suppress them for fear that they may not be sufficient to put bread on the table. And yet others are still trying to discover those unique abilities. It may not always be easy to uncover your unique abilities. Sometimes take the services of a coach. Sometimes listen to people when they compliment you because others see in you what you may not see in yourself. And meanwhile, just keep on assessing yourself and seeing what you enjoy doing and what feels natural and best to you. Generally, if you are working or leading from your unique abilities, it will follow that you will be full of zeal, enthusiasm, exhibit dynamism and creativity. And guess what? All those around you will also mirror that energy. And therefore today, let us try and understand some of our speakers and the unique abilities that they possess. To start us off will be Dr. Ashwati Rajan. Dr. Rajan is inherently nurturing, caring, and full of empathy. She uses these skills or these abilities to work with little children. And what she does, because it means so much to her, she starts to see things from the perspective of the children. She goes beyond and looks and tries to understand the lives that they lead. And therefore, when you attend her sessions, she makes sure that the children are engaged, they're having fun, and they're exciting. One thing you will not find in Dr. Ashwini Rajan's classes is boring lectures or note-taking. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome Dr. Ashwini Rajan to deliver today's toast.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Success always comes easily. Said no one ever. Think we all can agree that success comes with a little bit of elbow grease. You win, you lose, and you win again. That is the name of the game. And having the right mentality can be the difference between advancement and failure. Being leaders, it is important to have the right mindset to advance in the right direction. As we are going to begin the new leadership chapter of the club, let us reflect on our growth at Leadership Speak. Every role we had played, every speech we had presented, every meeting we had attended, and every accolade we have received were the result of strategic and meticulous planning, perfect organization, and seamless execution. In simpler words, the result of effective leadership. Leadership is a big responsibility. You are responsible for inspiring others to work hard to meet the team's goal. Leadership is about having the determination, courage to take risks, and committing to yourself towards the goal and possessing integrity. Let us all raise a toast to all those committed leaders of Leadership Speak who have contributed to the success of this club. And let us also raise the toast for the upcoming leaders of Leadership Speak who are going to lead us towards our goal to achieve excellence. Toast for all the leaders.
For all the leaders.
Yes.
Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Ashwini, for reminding us about our responsibilities and for making sure that we understand not only is it our past leaders, but our future leaders who are going to help us succeed. I appreciate you. I will now invite distinguished Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt to give us the word of the day. Now, with Hannah, it's interesting because we all know she loves to globetrot, but when she's not globetrotting, she tells me she likes to play rummy cap. Now, I have never played rummy cap, but I do know it has something to do with sequencing for patterns as well as numbers. So I'm pretty sure there'll be something within there that comes out as a hidden skill that she already possesses. But one thing Hannah did very recently is move and clear the clutter. When you have so much clutter around you, you feel so disorganized. Isn't it liberating when you clear clutter around you? Fellow Toastmasters, let us invite Hannah Schmidt to share with us today's word of the day.
Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Wow, this word has been used so many times already. I didn't even count. My word of the day is responsibility, and it definitely goes with leaders leading from unique abilities, definitely. And it reads, to have a duty to work for and help members achieve greatness with good judgment and the ability to work responsibly Madam Toastmaster, that is my word of the day, and I shall be looking for who has used this word. I shall be counting and also listen to some good sentences, some good English, and I'll report at the end of the day. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, DTM Hannah Schmidt, for always being so responsible yourself and reminding us all about our responsibilities. I will now invite our timer, Francois Bowen, who has been a diligent secretary with us. Clearly, organization is one unique ability that she has. She will share with us the different time allocations for the first part of today's meeting. Welcome, Francois Bowen.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. And I am your timer. So we're going to ensure that we stay on time. At the corner, you'll notice that my hand is raised for persons to see me. We have a few speeches, which is 5 to 7 minutes. And it's as follows: at 5 minutes, green and 6, yellow and red. You know what that means. Or you will also get, if it's staying too long, I'm going to put this that says time's up. Okay? After which, we also have, if for some reason while you're speaking, we cannot hear you, I will put on the screen, cannot hear you. Okay? So we are looking forward to ensure that we stick within time and we have a grand event this afternoon, this morning, whatever time of day it is for you. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Francois. And that is beautiful because sometimes you find speakers asking, can you hear me? But now the speaker will know immediately and we don't have to take time with that. I love that unique thought as you delivered your report. Thank you for that. Now to our speeches, something we always look forward to here at Leadership Speak. Our first speaker, someone we've missed for a while. Our first speaker is Brent Pattison, a co-founder of our club. And clearly, Brent comes with a lot to offer us all. He is a business coach, a customer service. He's got 30 years of experience in customer experience and leadership development. He has led large teams, global teams, in fact, spread across 9 countries. Not only has he had about 4,000 people directly under him, he has offered support to teams of tens of thousands across these 9 countries. Before I invite Brent to deliver his speech, I would like to invite his evaluator, Tony Bratschitsch, to share with us the objectives of Brent's speech. Tony.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day and fellow Toastmasters, and especially Brent. I'm not doing an evaluation though. Okay. The objectives are Brent is going to do a presentation on dynamic leadership, connect with storytelling, where he will present an established story about his life and a fictional tale of his own creation.
Hey,
Please
Tony,
remember,
Tony, I think the agenda, sorry, yeah, the agenda didn't get updated properly, Tony. My apologies. Go ahead, Rozy.
Okay.
So Brent will provide a very educational, entertaining speech. Please remember, he just got off the plane and he was informed on Thursday. So, but you know, again, we all have to face those kind of impromptus. And then Brent will be doing a typically excellent presentation. What's your title, Brent? Oh, you'll tell us your title. All right. Thank you. Back to you.
Tony, don't we all know Brent so well and know what to expect? So Brent, the expectations are high, but I know we will not be disappointed. Brent will be delivering his project from the Presentation Mastery Path. It's a level 3 project. It's about inspiring his audience. I will allow him to share, but he has already alluded to the fact it will be about some pillars of leadership that he has developed. So the title of his speech today is Leadership Matters. Leadership Matters, Brent Pattison.
Just for a moment, imagine a world where Gandhi never found his purpose of leading India from the rule of the British Empire. Or where Mandela led without principles of truth and justice in South Africa. Or where Elon Musk didn't care about progress. Leadership matters. And it's through the power of leadership that these exceptional individuals have transformed the world. Together, as we are all here to elect our new executive leadership team, we stand at a crossroads with the power to influence the course of our club's future. Leadership matters, and we must be diligent in selecting individuals who embody the best qualities of leadership. When I co-founded this club, I helped create a vision to be the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. This vision is based on an understanding that as self-directed leaders, we need to learn, innovate, and connect with others. These key values derived from the principles of leadership have shaped our club's vision. We've come a long way in a short time towards achieving that vision. And now it's essential that we elect leaders who understand and embrace their own strengths to help further that vision. Leadership matters. And I'm hopeful that our new executive embraces our vision of being the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to develop self-directed leadership skills, and also align with what I like to call the 3 Ps of leadership. What are those 3 Ps? Well, the first P, purpose. Great leaders have a clear sense of purpose that drives their actions and decisions. Our club's driving purpose of self-directed leadership development enables us to learn, innovate, and connect with others. As our club continues to near towards that realization of our vision of being the premier club for this, it's important that our new leadership continue the progress and achieve even greater heights. We need to carry on the legacy of Ralph Smedley, the founder of Toastmasters, and inspire experienced Toastmasters to become exceptional self-directed leaders. The second P of leadership, principles. Leaders with strong principles maintain their integrity and stay true to their values. A strong foundation in principles, including our club's key values of learn, innovate, and connect, will ensure that our leaders effectively foster collaboration and create an environment of shared responsibility. Our club's commitment to being the premier platform for leadership development demands that we elect leaders who uphold strong principles and guide our club with unwavering values. The third P of leadership, progress. Effective leaders are forward-thinking and focused on progress. They understand the importance of being adaptable and flexible in their approach. Our club must similarly strive to reach new heights in self-directed leadership by embracing progress, continuous improvement, and innovation. This progress will enable us to better learn, innovate, and connect with others. Now, as you consider who to vote for in our upcoming election, remember, leadership matters. It's important to consider not only the 3 Ps, but also the unique personal strengths of each candidate. Each of us has a distinct set of skills and abilities that can contribute to our club's success. Leadership matters when we recognize and leverage our strengths to create a positive impact. As you cast your votes today, and as our newly elected leaders take on their new roles, let us remember the powerful impact that purpose, principles, and progress have had on the lives of great leaders like Gandhi, Mandela, Musk, and Smedley. Leadership matters, and it's our responsibility to choose individuals who embody these qualities and who lead from their personal strengths. Leadership matters, and as members of this club, we must also hold ourselves and our leaders accountable, ensuring that we strive for excellence and foster an environment of growth and success. Together, let's uphold that vision of our club and forge a path forward to even greater achievement in self-directed leadership development. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Brent. Evidently, as a co-founder of this club, he really cares and reminds us to be responsible and vote for responsible leaders who will take us forward, because absolutely, leadership matters. Leadership that will make sure that the future of this club remains as strong as we have started out. Thank you for that. Our next speaker is Dinesh Sharma. Now, Dinesh's unique ability lies in bringing communities together, collaborating, and this is evident from many discussions and much information that he has shared here before. It was this that led Dinesh to found Brilliant Minds Group. And not only did he just found it, once he started it, he had some challenges with the initial co-founders, but that did not stop Dinesh. He went on, and today, thanks to this unique ability, many newcomers have prospered within a very short time of entering Canada. So thank you, Dinesh, for the lives that you touch. I will now invite his evaluator, Angela Brown, to share with us the objectives of Dinesh's speech. Angela, please share with us.
Okay, just hi. So the purpose of this speech is the project is to members to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer or other organization. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspects of his or her experience as a leader or the impact of the 360 evaluation.
Thank you very much for that. So Dinesh's speech today is from the Dynamic Leadership Path, Level 5, Speech 1, and his title is Lead in Any Situation. Lead in Any Situation, Dinesh Sharma.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Lead in any situation. We all have heard different leadership styles, transformational, inspirational, but a new term which is coming up these days is called situational leadership. So what is situational leadership? 6 parts of this presentation. First, you can read what is situational leadership. And as the Toastmaster Rozy said, I run a not-for-profit organization, Brilliant Minds Group, to help the newcomers and international students to reach their career goals in Canada. So I'm going to be sharing the journey of Brilliant Minds Group from the day it started to where it is. Setting the foundation, changing direction, stabilizing, scaling up operations, and summary. Let's get on to what is situational leadership. According to the 2 topmost leadership gurus, Ken Blanchard and Hershey, situational leadership means choosing the right leadership style for the right people. This is the time of the history when leaders look less like bosses and more like partners. April 2020, COVID hit the entire world. In Canada, 3 million people lost a job, and majority of them were newcomers and international students. I'm an HR professional, I'm a community person, but more importantly, I'm a newcomer to Canada. I've been in Canada for 20 years, but I still consider myself to be a newcomer because when I see the challenges the newcomers face, I feel for them. So what I started doing is I started organizing virtual webinars to help people understand how to reach success in Canada. Couple of you can see them as networking is pretty important in Canada, professional designation in Canada, and so on and so forth. When I was laying the foundation for this, I realized that alone I can go do so much. We all know this theory. If you want to run fast, run alone. However, if you want to run far, build a team, go together. I wanted to go far. So I reached out to the two wonderful individuals that you can see in these ones too, and I asked them, hey, would you help me build BMG, Brilliant Minds Group? They saw the potential, they agreed on to it too. And the first 6 months were exciting. We won awards. There was media publication for us. Exciting. However, the visions are not aligned. While my vision was I wanted to serve the community, I wanted to help the community become employable, they wanted to run this as a profit-making business. I said, money will come. Money is a byproduct. It will come. But again, every individual have a different ways of looking at the thing. Things didn't align. Because things didn't align, after 6 to 8 months, we decided to part ways. Peacefully, amicably. However, I am responsible. I am committed to the newcomer community. And I said, well, this parting of the ways is not going to impact me. I shared with Rozy the story that I thought that maybe I'm not able to communicate my vision clearly with the two other co-founders. So I went into a coaching class and I took 3 months of a coaching just to understand that, am I communicating clearly my vision? Is there something that I could do to change myself better? And yes, there are a few areas that I needed to work on to it too, no doubt about this too, okay? But then the vision was very clear. Then I do what I always do. I reached out to my long-term mentor and said, help me, guide me, I need to build this up. So we spent a couple of meetings together on trying to understand what I want to do, why do I want to do it, how I want to do it. Once what, why, and how was cleared, he then started helping me put together a new team. So that was 2021 when we changed the direction and we brought together a new team of professionals to help do this. 2022. The first 3 months of the time in 2022 was for the new team to start stabilizing it, to start gelling together, a group of 9 people coming together on the vision of somebody that they have worked on an individual basis, but they needed to work together. So the first 3 months time we did this. And then come the second quarter of 2022, we sat down and started doing the strategy session, what we want to do. It took us 3 months time to put our mission and vision together, where we want to go, what we want to do, how we want to do that. Once the mission and vision was clear of what we want to do it was only a matter of time because these 9 individuals are so committed, about the community development, they easily bought into it too. This is what happened. We started organizing different events. We started collaborating with different community organizations, different individuals. The things that we said, hey, coming back to the 3C models that we built it up, community, contributions, collaboration. We alone cannot do it. Canada receives 500,000 people every year. And if we do not properly serve these people, not 500,000 people, we could start off with 500, we could start off with 5,000, but alone we cannot do this. We needed to build collaborations in the community. So we reached out to the different organizations. We started sharing our vision with them too. This is what we want to do there. And said, we, the team of BMG, is committed on the employment part of it too. But when we talk of the newcomer settlement, we want to build a holistic model. The holistic model is a newcomer come to Canada, job is important, health and wellness is important, housing is important, finance is important. Let's build a strong ecosystem of newcomer and international student community settlement. By the end of 2022, we realized that, hey, we have found our path. How did we found our path? When you get this kind of a testimonial, being a promising startup company who's committed towards nation building. What does that mean is the journey that we started 3 years back, each of these 9 members are now responsible, committed, and passionate about community development. Otherwise, you will not get there. But more importantly, when media start inviting you, say, hey, can you share your journey? But we can't do it alone. My way of looking at the things is work without fun is nothing. Life is boring. So you need to enjoy with your team. You need to have fun with your team. In the summary, my way of looking at situational leadership is adapt your style to motivate and encourage the cooperation of the team. Learn to be fluid in your leadership. If those two individuals, nice people, but our visions are not aligned, we have to part the way. Develop the skills of persuasion. I had to go back to the mentor and say, hey, help me, serve me. Gain the trust of the people you work with. Develop your problem-solving skills. Develop your coaching skills. But more importantly, keep your emotions neutral. I mentioned it to Rozy that although on a professional level, I parted ways with those two founders, but on a personal level, we still keep in touch because emotions needs to be kept neutral. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Dinesh, and congratulations on the award. Keep impacting lives, and especially those of newcomers into Canada. I'm sure it makes a huge difference to them. Our next speaker, dear friends, is Nikhita Winkler. Nikhita loves dancing. I think this is no secret to anyone. And that is where she found her unique ability. It gives her immense joy, immense gratification. And this is so evident. We have witnessed Nikhita come here, and even through the internet highway, we just feel that trance, that beautiful spirit as she leads us with dance and yoga. Nikhita was recently invited by UNICEF to be a mentor for their program called Upshift. And that is on helping youngsters learn and in fact make dance their career. She has transformed many lives and today feels really sad she's not able to do that as much as she would like to. Before I invite Nikhita to deliver her presentation, I'll invite her evaluator, Bram Memon, to share with us the objectives of Nikhita's speech.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster, and especially Nikhita. Today, Nikhita is presenting an icebreaker from presentation mastery. The very first speech is the icebreaker. And as we all know, icebreakers are supposed to speak about anything and just be present as much as you can. However, she's got a significant other side objective, which is to see whether this content can be developed further into a championship speech. So everyone give her feedback based on that, besides just an icebreaker, because she is, as we all know, the district champion of District 86. Back to you, Rozy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Bram. And so now we invite Nikhita Winkler with her icebreaker, Noluthando. Noluthando, Nikhita Winkler.
My traditional name is Noluthando. Noluthando in Bantu languages means mother of love or to have love. This name was given to me by an elder in my family who passed away this April. May her soul rest in peace, Ma Vivian. I met her when I was 15 years old, and this is when she gave me the name, which I was deeply moved by because it meant that I had the power of love somewhere deep within me, and I had forgotten about it. Because when I was 12 years old, I lost my father from AIDS. You see, my parents were divorced for about 7 years then, and somebody gave my father this illness. Somebody killed my father. Now, as a child, I started to develop this hatred for people inside of my heart. In fact, for the years I was growing up, my heart, it got colder and colder, and I locked it up in this freezer wrapped with barbed wire. I was impossible to approach. I had the look on my face as if I was going to kill somebody. And often people said to me, Nikhita, you're so rude. And okay, if I was rude, I was also carrying a very big billboard on my shoulders with the label, selfish. Because every single day somebody was calling me selfish. And you know what? I didn't care. Because being selfish was a way that I could protect my heart. And those walls that I built were also a way that I could protect my heart. I was surprised that throughout my life, I had come across many people who saw right through those walls. They saw right through my freezing cold heart and saw the love within me, just like that Ma Vivian who called me Noluthando. She saw right through me. And one other person who became my mentor. For an intense 3 years, I went through mentorship with this person who helped me to bring warmth back to my heart and who helped me to unwrap those wires that were pierced in my heart. And by the 3rd year, that is when I met my husband. I know, I always bring him up. I always talk about him because the experience of meeting my husband, the experience of being with him is such an incredible experience that I have never felt love like that before. How exactly? Let me explain to you. I've learned that there are 4 parts of love that I never knew. 1, how to receive love, how to give love, how to contain love, and how to expand love. It is not to say that my family didn't love me unconditionally, no. But the truth is that we come from a colonial history that is running trauma in our bloodlines. We are traumatized. Our vessels are broken, they're leaking, and there's fear. So even if they loved me, there are walls. And so for the first time, I met someone who didn't have a wall, someone who could contain love, an ocean of love, without limiting it. Through my healing experience, through my experience of returning to love, I never forget something that I was once taught by a friend who took my hands, looked me in the eyes while we were having a conversation about why I wasn't making money. And he said to me, Noluthando, love is your currency. As you heal, money will follow. You are the bridge. Love is the bridge between you and everything else. And in learning how to receive, how to give, and how to contain and expend love, I came to understand that we can't receive love because I was too selfish. Because to receive love, it means that you have to be able to be selfless, to put someone else's needs and happiness and desires and well-being before your own. To be able to give, that's to give love, sorry. To be able to receive love, you have to be vulnerable and open, and that's not easy if you've been damaged before. And the most difficult part is containing this intense and powerful emotion that is love, because it is limitless. It is overwhelming and uncontrollable. And I know that through my work as a dancer, even though I couldn't do any of those, somehow, somewhere, I could still expand love. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very, very much. Allow me to call you Noluthando, because it's a very befitting name, and especially now, having understood what that name stands for and signifies, you do totally carry it with you. Thank you. Very inspiring. Our final speaker today, ladies and gentlemen, is that surprising, laughing, compassionate person who calls herself Queen of Self-Talk, or no, Queen of Straight Talk. For her, the unique ability that she discovered, but it took time to discover, was that ability to know people at a deeper level. And having found that, she felt a lot happier because it changed how she approached matters, how she approached work, and how she did things. Today, having recognized the importance of this, when she understands others deeper, she doesn't waste time telling them. And that's why she says she shoots straight and tells them, because she knows it makes such a difference. And indeed, I can bear testimony. She does achieve that. Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite our next speaker, Sandra Valks, I would like to invite her evaluator, Sudarshan Seshadri, to share with us the objectives of Sandra's speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today our speaker, Toastmaster Sandra, is on the threshold of completing her level 1 of presentation mastery. This is a speech that she has already delivered and received feedback. She's going to incorporate that feedback into this particular speech. The feedback that she had received in the first time that she delivered was to concentrate on her pauses and emphasize on transition from one segment to the other. I will be observing for that and everything else that I usually do. So that is the gist of what she's going to speak about for 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Sudarshan. So as we heard, Sandra is delivering from the presentation mastery path, last speech in this level, and the title of her speech is, What Does Your Gut Say? What does your gut say, Sandra Valks? Unmute yourself. Come on, audio.
Well, so much for level 1. Put me back in kindergarten. Thank you very much. What does your gut say? You ever listen to it? Yeah, I mean, listen to your gut. You know, when we're doing evaluations or coaching and helping somebody come along, if we're not stuck in who we are and getting all worried about, oh, what will somebody say? Or am I looking okay? Well, look at me, I'm an old fart and I'm looking okay, I guess. You see, but we have to set ourselves aside. We have to set ourselves aside. Because when we want to be free, truly free, then we have to accept ourselves as we are. And only then, only when we have accepted ourselves as we are, can we step outside of that and truly, truly hear what other people are saying. And now I'm going to say that, yes, we think about hearing as turning our listening on, our ears, but we know how important body language is because we also listen with our eyes. And did you know that we get all wrapped up in our brain? We get all wrapped up in our brains thinking when what we really need to do is stop the thinking or set it off, you know, so that the thinking is kind of 10% of what we're doing. And the 90% is what we are observing and absorbing of emotion and feeling, which then moves us into the heart area. And get this, into our second brain. Do you know your second brain? Did you know you had a second brain? Or are you too busy staying in this little thing that's up here at the top? The real brain, well, I shouldn't say the real brain, the second brain is down here in the gut. So when people say, Sandra, I really like your evaluations, like, how do you do that? Yes, I pay attention to what I see. I hate those phony backgrounds where body parts go missing. I hate that because that's what I see and it distracts me from being able to, no, not here, I can still hear, but it distracts me from going here and then distracts me from going here. Now, last time you heard me talk about Janice and different ways that I coach and then cajole and bring people forward. That is part of connecting from where I have learned evaluation and moving that into the coaching and bringing people forward. That's where that's come from. So now when Tom came to the Speechcraft, the same place where Janice was, well, Tom shows up. He calls me first off. Is this the lady that's running that Speechcraft? Yes, it is. And who are you? Well, I'm Tom, and I'm sure you won't have any idea what I'm talking about, but I do need some practice in presenting. And so I think I maybe should come, but I don't know that's going to do me any good because you won't know what I'm talking about. I'm thinking, Now, if I just thought here, I would say, well, then go away and go to somebody that you think is going to understand you. I could be snotty, but that's not what it's about, you see. My gut came in immediately and thought, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a computer IT tech guy and he doesn't know how to talk. He doesn't know how to connect. What am I going to do with him? You see, so my gut guides my mouth. And I said, so Tom, I'm sure we're not all stupid. So I'm sure you're not thinking we're stupid. We are experienced, but what we're going to be looking at is your delivery. And did you connect to us? So you go right ahead with your technical terms because that's what you need for your presentation. You're going to be talking to technical people. You go right ahead, but you watch to see if we're engaged and connecting with you, and we'll help you along. Okay, well, I can't come to all 8 classes. I can only come for 2 weeks. I said, we're not giving you a price discount. He said, I don't care about paying it. I'll come for the 2 sessions that I can. Well, knowing that, I welcomed him in and made sure I concentrated on him a little bit more in those first 2 weeks, because all of us are going to learn. So that's what we did. We had Tom up there. And the first thing he does is gets up there and he's setting up his equipment and he says, do you have an extension cord? No. Oh, I said, what's the problem? It won't fit. I need an extension cord. I said, well, there's your lesson number 1. You get your little kit all together and you go out prepared to look after yourself. Ah, says he. And then when he presented, he couldn't get any energy into it. So what I did was, after he spoke, I went and stood beside him because he was going to leave and sit down. I said, no, you stand right here. Let's get the feedback. So we did round robin feedback. And I said, and I want you to show us some energy. So there I am with my arm around him. I said, okay, Tom, forget about the talk and forget about all that. Let me see you jump up and down. He couldn't do it. He said, what do you want? Yes, I want to see you jump up and down. That's not jumping up and down, Tom. Jump. He could not get his feet off the ground, but eventually he got his feet almost off the ground to his toes. And he could feel, okay, there's the energy. We want some energy. We want some excitement, even when you're delivering something that even your tech guys are going to go to sleep in, if they happen to know it. So what does that have to do with how do we evaluate? How do we listen to our gut before we judge with this thing up here? Remember who we have been when we were in that same spot. If I talk about energy work to somebody that never thought about it, all they know is electricity. Yeah, that's called your energy bill, but they've not connected it. You see, I have to give grace to people, and people need to give grace to me. So when we evaluate, let's stop and think, what does your gut say? What's happening? Are you catching me? Are you engaging me? Stop and think, what does your gut say? Listen to it, and then freely give. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for that beautiful speech, for making us understand how important it is to see things from the other person's side, and, to really listen to that the second brain you called it, but that third part, the gut. Fellow Toastmasters, we have now come to the end of this particular section, and I'd like to request our timer, Francois Bon, to share in the chat the time taken by each one of our speaker. And at the same time, I'd like to request our SAA to bring up the poll for best speaker. I believe you, oh, okay, thank you. Let's go. Okay, thank you very much. We will be looking at the awards at the end of the meeting. It now gives me great pleasure to hand over the meeting to our general evaluator, who will run with the next section of this meeting, Ejura. Did you know, fellow Toastmasters, that Ejura, beyond our member, is the name of a town, of a capital? And indeed, if the name gives any identity, then this speaks to the magnitude of impact that our speaker has made in a community. She says she's a problem solver, an extraordinary planner, and very good organizer. One thing I've learned about her is when people have conflict, And this speaks to the community. She is able to come in, not just diffuse the conflict, but make them all feel that they are on the same side. This is her unique ability. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ejura to take over from here.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Rozy. Good evening from Nigeria. Leadership Speak. I'm Ejura, and I'm handling the evaluation segment of this meeting, and we'll quickly go into the evaluations for all of the speakers. So first of all, I'll be inviting one of the most enthusiastic speakers I've come across in a very long time. He has a brilliant mind, in my opinion, and he evaluated the first speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Brent. Please welcome to the virtual lectern, Tony. Tony, if you are there, we would love to hear from you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Boy, you've really inspired me on top of the inspiration I've already received. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and especially Brent. Brent, to me, you delivered two messages. One was general and the other was specific. The general message was to do with be aware that leadership matters. Now, you spoke leadership matters 7 times throughout your speech. That's emphasis of the theme, okay? And then you elaborated on a rhetorical device of 3 leaders, which was Gandhi, Mandela, and Musk. And that was a great usage of rhetorical device of 3s. And you've done that a number of times here to process our thought process accordingly. For example, you talked about the club's founding vision, and you said it was learn, innovate, and connect. Learn, innovate, and connect. Yes, that was our founding vision. Then you discussed the process in a rhetorical device of 3, which was purpose, principle, and progress. Again, and then you went to an applicable call to action, which is for the members of this club to exercise their vote, to continue to make the right decisions as they see best when they elect the next executive. Now, your delivery was superb, well-spoken, good timely gestures, a great PowerPoint that supported everything you said, and your eye contact with the camera was excellent. You were looking into my eyes, so I could feel that. I have a recommendation. Perhaps to mention one of the club's many accomplishments that have justified your presentation, such as the Global Leadership Impact Summit of last July with a world record of registrations, or the support and nurturing and love of our member who won the district's district's international speech contest, or perhaps the fact that we have the highest educational awards in the district by far. No one's even close to us. Just to anchor what you have presented. What I like the best is, how did you put all this together in 2 days after getting off the plane when you had probably more pressing things to do? Wow. Overview is that you put together an inspirational masterpiece grounded with vision and with a call to action. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, we have just witnessed and experienced leadership speak. Thank you, Brent. Back to you, Toastmaster, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Tony, for that incredibly detailed evaluation. I loved it so much because you gave examples of what Brent did in his speech. That was encouraging. And at the point, I didn't even think that the recommendation, I didn't even realize that you're giving a recommendation because you were so enthusiastic about giving it. And it was so encouraging and positive. Thank you so much for that. Well done. 2 words come to mind when I think of our next evaluator for the next speaker, for the second speaker: resilient and warrior. Toastmasters and guests, please welcome Angela. to give us her evaluation for Dinesh. Angela, the floor is yours.
Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, especially Dinesh. So I have broken my evaluation basically into what I like and what could be improved. I thought you had a really great presentation. It was very informative. There was a lot of content and good information. You had good eye contact. You seemed comfortable during your speech. And I looked at the audience and they were all engaged in listening to your speech. I also like the fact that you had personal experience and talked about being a newcomer to Canada. I think you could improve by having a little bit more passion in your voice, especially at certain points in your speech, like when you talk about the club that you founded or the coming to Canada. Yeah, your facial expression was the same, no changes, and I didn't see much gestures either. And ending, I wouldn't say it was memorable. Like I actually thought, oh, that's it. I sort of expected a more memorable ending so that we could remember your speech and what you talked about. So overall, I think it was a really great speech and great job. And also congratulations on your win. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela, for that concise evaluation for Toastmaster Dinesh. I loved it because it was well-rounded. You went into the content, the body language, and everything he brought for, during the speech. So thank you so much for that. It was brief, concise, straight to the point. Very well done to you, Angela. And then we have someone who is a visionary, the co-founder of this amazing club. And in my opinion, he makes leadership look so easy. Please welcome Bram, who evaluated the beautiful Nikhita with her wonderful speech. Bram, let's hear what you've got to say about Nikhita's speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially my dear Nikhita. An experiment to take a speech to world champion. And this was, I suppose, your very first take on it, the very first time you presented it, because it was apparent that you were hesitating in places and sometimes dropping sentences and so on, because it's first time. And I do the same. I take a 5 to 7 minute speech and then make it into 1 hour presentation eventually. Now, I got from your content that this speech is about from anger to love and the journey and the return to love. That's really basically the message that I got from this speech. And we all heard from you how anger had developed from you, and that realization when you were 12 years old with regards to your father and so on, and the circumstances, and that seething anger that you had. You moved through the speech with bits of your husband there, and then the colonization at another point in time, and so on, the broken vessels and so on. I suggest that all the anger that you need that was developed and was there at the beginning, and then how you return to love, or the journey that you're still on to love. And so there's a flow, a better flow to it in your speech. What I would suggest is also, you said return to love, and immediately we all think, at least I thought of Marianne Williamson, right? So, our deepest fear is, our shadows rather than love. You could have just mentioned, it's a big paragraph, a brief from that, 1 sentence maybe, so it would give us reference if you said return to love, because we all, or most of us know that. What I would suggest, Noluthando, is when you're expressing love, express it and show that and pause so that people actually get that love. When you're angry, be angry and pause and raise your voice. So I suggest HPL, high vocal variety, pause and lower it, or LPH, low, pause, and then high. So I use HPL, LPH, not high performance leadership, but vocal variety, high, pause, low, low, pause, high. And you have to go back and forth to really engage the audience. So that's what I would really like. This is a perfect speech to develop into your championship speaking as you go along. Of course, definitely. I found the ending was abrupt. I think you saw the red light. To me, it seemed to be abrupt. I'm sure you probably know that as well. Now, I will leave it at that because there's quite a few things that you're still working on, and really you don't need a full evaluation of everything. But I really like, of course, as always, your Zoom presence is awesome. Your lighting is great. This is for the rest of the audience here. Eye contact, you have mastered that. And that's what makes you a district champion, hopefully a world champion soon. It came out, right? Because you will be. Back to you, Madam G.
Thank you very much, Bram, for that awesome evaluation. What I particularly liked about that evaluation was the fact that you quickly reminded the audience of the speech objectives of what we're supposed to expect from the speaker. And you were able to quickly do that in a few seconds. And I would implore all evaluators to do that as well, so that it prepares us to understand and grasp your evaluations as you give them to the speaker. And finally, we're moving on to the final evaluation for the final speaker, Sandra, who gave us a really witty and inspiring and motivating speech, talking to us about our second brains, which was so insightful. Please welcome Sudarshan, who will be evaluating our final speaker.
Thank you,
Sudarshan?
Madam G. Yeah, I'm here.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam G. Fellow Toastmasters and guests. As I begin, I would like to say that what we witnessed today was a pink speech, P-I-N-K, just like the speaker's hair. Why do I say pink? Because the speech had passion, it had integrity, it had nuance, and it had knowledge. All four elements were there in abundance in Toastmaster Sandra's speech. She spoke about a domain that a lot of us know about, but the nuance that she brought out made it palatable, made it relatable. And I, for one, bent down to look at my gut to listen to what is it saying. And all it could say is that you haven't had tea, go and have tea. But that apart, I must commend our speaker on taking up a topic which is very commonplace and delivering it with the finesse of a master motivator. And that's what the speech was all about. The speech was meant to motivate each and every one of us to look into ourselves before we utter the words that come to our mouth. And that was done exemplarily well through the content that she built. And when a speaker shares a lived experience, it automatically becomes that much more honest and filled with integrity, which is what we saw in the speaker's speech as well. Of course, our speaker is known for her inimitable style of humor, and that was there in abundance through the speech. Humor that was not over the top, humor that was not out of place, humor that was meant to convey a message. And that's exactly how I would recommend anyone that is attempting to infuse humor uses this tool in their speeches. So all in all, this speech was a very timely, well-crafted, well-delivered speech. Some of the other highlights, the way our speaker chose to move close and farther away from the camera, that conveyed the passion that the speaker had. One of the things that our speaker had received from our previous evaluator was the use of pauses. Like me, our speaker doesn't believe in pausing because her speech was a cascade. It was a torrent that flowed right through at us. And guess what? Even though it did so, it came at a pace and pitch which was relatable. Therefore, I, for one, could run along with the speech and keep my attention. And to that, I would say, while you have chosen to ignore the feedback from your previous evaluator, what you did resonated with me. And therefore, I commend you on the rhythm, pace, and pitch of the speech. all in all, this is a speech that is something that we should all listen to more number of times. And maybe I would want to invite Sandra to deliver an educational session on what does it really mean to listen to your gut? Because it is a very, very important trait of leadership. And she brought it out in a very succinct manner in the 7 minutes that she had. And that to me is a lesson for all of us to cherish and take forward as we become the true self-directed leaders that we are meant to be. So thank you very much for that, Toastmaster Sandra. And back to you, Madam Joint Evaluator.
That was an amazing evaluation, Sudarshan. Thank you so much for that. You went into the structure and the content of Sandra's speech. You went into the core of who she is as a speaker, and you were able to motivate us even further with your evaluation, because you had mentioned something about her, giving the speech on a wider audience, to motivate leaders to listen more to themselves, to listen to their guts. That was really motivating. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure Sandra would want to come back again and again to speak, which is one of the aims of being a good evaluator. You have to encourage the speaker to want to do this over and over again and get better. Thank you all to all of our evaluators. I learned so much listening to every single one of you. Thank you for that. I will quickly give my reports now, or do I hand over to the Toastmaster of the day?
No, go ahead and give your report. Thank you.
Okay, it will be very brief because I understand the nature of today's meeting. So the meeting started right on time at 2:28 my own time. The Sergeant at Arms was able to call our attention to the fact that the meeting was about to start. And we started right on time at 2:30. And he read the vision and all of that. And I think it's really important, particularly for those that are guests. They have a sense of where they are. They know that it's not just a normal community meeting. It's something a little bit different. So the SAA was able to do that quite impressively. The Toastmaster of the day was incredibly charming, pleasant, and lovely to listen to. I enjoyed every bit of it, and she was able to manage the time and the speakers pretty well. The only recommendation, I'm not sure it's a recommendation actually, because the time was fairly well managed. Some of the introduction got a little bit lengthy, and considering the nature of today's meeting, where we have elections coming up, I would have wanted us to shorten the introduction just a little bit, to maybe reduce it to maybe about two to three sentences. But it was really entertaining to listen to, the core of who the speakers are. So I kind of enjoyed it, and you were able to manage the time well. So very well done to that. And the transition from one segment to the other was really smooth and very well done. Well done to our speakers. You all did incredibly well. Your speeches Brent's speech was so motivating. I was so pumped up. I felt thinking to myself, maybe I should go back to being an EXCO member, but I'm not so sure about that right now. But it was really motivating, and anyone coming in would want to imbibe. You reminded us of the vision, which is so important, the vision and the values of Leadership Speak, which is so, so important. Dinesh, well done, and congratulations on your award. I loved your speech. It was informative, very informative. And Nikhita, your speech was so moving, so beautiful and inspiring. Sandra, I love you so much. I love listening to you. You bring so much joy and just fun to the whole thing. Just looking at you just puts a smile on my face. Your speech was informative. It was motivating. It was thought-provoking, and of course, very witty. Thank you so much. Our ever wonderful evaluators, my personal mentor, Bram, you did what you do very well. I learned so much from you. Sudarshan, I loved your evaluation. Like I said earlier, it was really motivating. Thank you, Angela and Tony, for your awesome evaluations. I learned a lot. I always do when I come here. I will be handing back now to the Toastmaster of the day, Rozy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much indeed for those very, very encouraging and positive remarks. Madam Ejura Okpanachi. I hope I got that right.
Well, we're in Mississauga. It didn't take us that long to get through, which is awesome.
I don't know if we can ask our Sergeant at Arms to mute whoever has their audio on. So I'd now like to invite our grammarian to share her report briefly as well.
Certainly, Madam General Evaluator. The word responsibility, okay, it was right at the beginning, it was used plenty of times, but during the meeting, it was a bit little that we used it. But I have heard some very good sentences, especially also from Dinesh. Leaders look less like bosses, definitely. All the bosses are bosses, and the leaders, they are subservient, they say at the back. Good for you. And money is a big byproduct. Not for everybody, Dinesh, but for some of it, it is that all that matters. Nikhita, wow, my heart wrapped in barbed wire. Phew. I really felt my heart also cramp up in barbed wire. And love your currency, money will follow, good for you. And Sandra, especially your second brain is your gut. Wow, I will remember that. That gut feeling is definitely better than this brain here. Okay, I see my time is nearly up already. And Tony, witness and experience leadership speak. That is of the essence for definitely for leadership speak. Bram, journey from anger to love. Wow, I wanted to see that journey that you go from anger to love to show Nikhita. And Sudarshan, humor that was meant to convey a message. That is definitely what Sandra did. Convey the message, whatever from your gut feeling through humor. Very well done. Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Grammarian, distinguished Toastmaster Hannah. I will now announce the awards. I'm not sure if they were visible to all, but here I'd like to invite Baron to share with us the beautiful certificates. Our best effort speaker was none other than, drum rolls, Nikhita Winkler. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it would be beautiful if it's possible to send these in hard copy to the speakers as well. Thank you for that. Our best effort evaluator today is, drum rolls, none other than Sudarshan Seshadri. Baron? Okay, Sudarshan, I know there is a certificate for you as well. I'm sure you will receive it.
Yes, I am sure of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and well deserved. So, fellow Toastmaster, oh, there it is. You have to see it. A big round of applause for Sudarshan as well. Thank you. Thank you very much, Baron. It's a beautiful initiative as we recognize our best effort speaker and evaluator. Thank you for that. So, dear Toastmasters and most welcome guests, it has been my privilege serving as your Toastmaster of the day today. When you lead with your unique abilities, you simply experience a sense of beauty, a sense of peace, and a sense of simplicity because you are so clear about your path. It is inspiring to see that so many of our speakers here at Leadership Speak are aware of these unique abilities. And as a result, I'm very sure wherever they go, they will be impacting on lives well beyond, outside of, as well as inside Leadership Speak. Thank you very much. With that, our future is bright. I would like now to thank you again and pass the meeting to our president, who can appreciate the guests and invite them to leave so that we can continue to our business session for today. Over to you, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rosie. Thank you everyone for attending the meeting today. It's really, really appreciated. I'll just quickly see if we have any guests of notable mention. We have our regular guests, of course, which we will not mention, but we have Karine Baptiste. Hello, Karine, are you there? And thank you for visiting us. If you can put your video on. Hello, Karine. How did you find our meeting?
Thank you, Bram. Hello, everyone. I'm Karine. I live in Paris. Thank you very much for amazing speeches and evaluators. It was very interesting, and also to discover different cultures in your club. So for me, it is a learning experience to attend it. Thank you, Bram.
Thank you, Karine. I've known Karine for past year or 2 years, maybe. I've visited her club a couple of times. She's invited me to speak there and so on, and many other roles. So, and thank you for coming here and showing an interest in Leadership Speak.
Thank you, Bram.
Today's meeting was shorter because we have elections coming up in the next few minutes. Thank you for being here.